Okay, I'm back from my hamburger supper. That actually turned out to be, even though I've had breakfast, lunch, and lunch. Actually, I guess it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner, really, because I eat every 4 hours, so that's pretty good. A lot of times I don't eat my dinner till 5 or 6 hours, but that came along and that was good. And if I stay up working long enough, which I wouldn't mind doing that, to push my schedule around to get off this crazy one, that can actually help me, do that. So, go to the desktop. I'll get over here on our remote desktop. I got that all up and going again. Pick up where we left off. Let me look at I got my stream playing over there, but I haven't heard the sound yet to make sure it's all good and everything. Okay. Now I can, excuse me. Now I can pause that until I need to check it again. Getting that darn terrible scratch in my throat. Okay, let's see. What is it? Oh, somehow Yum Extender I guess that's just where I opened it up. That's where I tend to open it up. Then the last. This one only has 4 workspaces. I keep 6 on mine, but I'd put 4 on the ones that are less powerful machines on purpose to remind me not to open up so many things at the same time and wear them down. So LSHW there, that is the one I have on there. It's Hardware Lister is what it's called. It's one of the few that the name of the app is wildly different from the display name, the title of the app or whatever. It makes it really hard to beginning to, well, I still can't even remember LSHW. I remember Hardware Lister, easy. But in some of these different apps, when you do the search, you can't find it to save your life. You got to put in LSHW to find it. But in this one, I did find it that way. Well, it's already installed. I think I installed it from my install script. But anyway, I've got some more that I'm installing. I already spent 30 minutes probably looking through this list of apps that in my search results. I just searched for system info up here. And this is Yum Extender for DNF. This one still has a good way. You can set, it comes like prefix or keyword or something and like only name selector or something like that. And but if you can select all of these and then go by all, fields and then all of those, then you can find stuff and you can do two-word searches and it works really well. That DNF Dragora is terrible for searching. There's no options like that in it, and that's the new one in 27. I actually thought you couldn't put Yum Extender in Fedora 26, but there it is. Maybe I couldn't find it in DNF, but it, it was in the repos and I just couldn't find it because it's here now in this. And I did run my install script on here. I need to make a new, well, I don't have to make the whole script, but at least make a new list of installed apps after I install these new apps and save it for later, so that I can use it. A lot of times, like my Fedora 14 system is the best one I've got, ever made. It's got every kind of app you could ever need and more. And but I can't use its script that I made from it on these newer systems because, I need to change. I need to try to change. When my scripts have the actual, 0.28. We'll say like this one, B, or is that an 8? Anyway, it has all this, and if I can figure out how to just drop. Sometimes they won't work if you don't have that. So I think what I'll do is try to make it 2 ways. Figure it out. When I use my Excel, my spreadsheet to divide it up, and then it's easy to delete all the extra columns. You can imagine the columns just looking at this. If you import this after you make it into save it as a text file, and then save it, rename it, or make a copy and name it .cvs. I think it is. Whatever's a spreadsheet file for. That works in OpenOffice or LibreOffice, and then it'll divide it up just like this looks here in this application. It'll be divided up into spread, and you can just delete all the columns except for just the names of the apps. And then I put it into LibreOffice, and get rid of all the, it'll be full of returns when you open it in there. It'll just be a long list like that, but I'll get rid of all the returns and just leave a space between each one, and then put the script information, what turns it into a script up at the very top, and you got a script. Save it as a .sh then, to tell the system it's a script. And so anyway, I think what I need to do to make it sure I get it to. There's a lot of apps that, like when you go like say from Fedora 23 to 26 or 27, then these FC26 and all that, it's going to say not found on a lot of it. It depends. Well, say if it said FC23, then a lot of them may not be may be found in the Fedora 27 repos, stuff like that. So yeah, but then again, some of them actually just will not work. I've ran into that lots of times. If you don't have the whole name all the way up to here, you don't have to have the architecture, but you do need, it'll automatically get the right architecture for whatever you're running. But you do need sometimes the whole name and version, and then sometimes it's just great not to have it, even better. So with thousands of apps, it's too hard to figure all that out one at a time. So yeah, I think I'll make 2 scripts. Start making 2 scripts. Okay, sidetrack. ISS SCSI. What is that? List SCSI devices and associated information. Interesting. Okay, now let's create a kwallet-like function for LXQT. Okay, now I'm just looking for system, hardware, system info, hardware lister type apps is what I'm really looking for. Modem manager, they still got a modem manager. That's cool, because sometimes you do need to fax. I found that out a few months ago. I actually ended up having to do it with the Windows systems because I couldn't, I hadn't found that. I don't remember the whole reason why I did it that well. Well, the machine at my Lenovo, if I don't have a modem in it, I could put one in it because there is one PCI slot in the thing, but I didn't want to go do all that, taking it apart. So I went and I have this Dell 6000 laptop. I think is what I ended up using. It has a modem built into it. Then finally, I started using my mom's brother. She had a brother Epson. She has an Epson scanner printer fax. And I started using it. I never could communicate it, and to send a fax from a Linux system to it, I had to use a Windows system. I was doing that. And finally, it goes to sleep quicker than you can get going, and it won't respond to you. So finally, and some of it, I ended up printing this stuff out and then faxing it the old-fashioned way. Stick it in it has a sheet feeder, where you can put multiple sheets in there, and I did it that way. Some too. So anyway, faxing is a pain in the butt. I hate it. I used to think it was cool. You're back in the 80s, early 90s, but now I hate it. And you never know for sure if it went and if they got it, unless you can get a hold of them to ask them. All right, let's go. Back to Nagios. Let's see. Okay, that's just about what's going on with your system. I'm pretty sure I've used that before. I don't remember if I liked it or not. Got to remember to look at the green ones. That means they're already installed. Sometimes I just XFCE App Finder is pretty darn good, but there are apps it will just not find, and it's all got to do with not in the all this information that's in the the YOM DNF. It's not in the description of the app after it's installed. Sometimes there's lots of information. Sometimes there's very little. I'll just show you an example here. Well, no, I can't. Okay. I think I can if I do this. Okay, now if I open up App Finder the way I do on my Mate desktop, because it doesn't have this little whisker menu. If you click on anything, let's see. Well, you know what? I thought on my machine it came up right down here at the bottom automatically. Let me see. Do you have to right click? Edit. Huh. Yeah, there's usually something down here at the bottom with all the description and everything would come up. Maybe it's not set to do that. I don't know. Well, it's not doing it in here. Maybe it's quit doing it now in the newer versions. This is Fedora 26. Edit. You could probably hit edit and find out. Well, you can find out that way. See, you can find the name, the comment, the command. See, and that kind of information and more. I think on Fedora 20. Well, look, doggone it. All right, I'm gonna look on my. You're not gonna make a liar out of me. You may. Okay, there you go. That's everything. Same app. Doesn't come up. All right. So now I'm lying or what? Let's see. Now all I show up on here is hardware lister. It's not doing it. Huh. How did I ever see that then? Used to it did it. Okay, so I'm crazy. I'm just crazy. I'm not lying. I'm just crazy. I'm just old and feeble and can't remember nothing. I'm not really completely feeble, but darn it. Oh well. Going in circles tonight. Okay. Speak module. Now I'm getting sidetracked by every little thing that looks interesting, and I forget what I'm even looking for. System info, hardware. Okay. Let's try to finish looking through this and see if there's anything else that's actually in there that I want. Okay. I know I found one of the ones that I use. So we'll see if we can what happened there? Boy, if that crashed, I'd be so mad. Something's crashed. I'm going to say report. Why is there two report? I'm going to hit report just to see what it is that happened. Yelmex DNF quit. That means it's going to fix and close in a minute unless it recovered. And everything I selected in there will be gone. Ain't a darn thing I can do about it, though. If it crashed, it crashed. Yelmex DNF. Well, this is a crash report. Sometimes I get mixed up between crash reports and I guess 26 you might still could report crashes, but I'm not going to fool with it right now. Sometimes it takes a lot of time. They had a ABRT automatic bug report, and you could just turn it on and it would just send them automatically, but I guess they got tired of that and they went back to making you go through it yourself. I guess they want more, you put in more custom information, tell them what's really going on. Crafty, when was that? 2 hours ago. I don't know what Crafty is. I wasn't running an app called Crafty. Kernel Core. Oh. Huh. I don't know. I'm looking at it now. I'm thinking, okay, is this got anything to do with the processor, causing this? PHP CLI. Now, that's probably that system testing app I was running. Gotta be. But system error, kernel core, and when you sometimes you'll get some kernel panic. Well, kernel panic usually gives you a complete crash, but a kernel problem doesn't have enough meaningful information. Sometimes you'll have them, and they'll just keep happening, and then after a while, another update will fix it, and you never actually crash or anything. Jack Audio, that was probably on a different day, I'm pretty sure. Blue Man, that's that Bluetooth app that I don't even, lucky backup quit unexpectedly. I know that was on a different day. Let's see if there's any, system. Oh, I don't want to go that far. Details. Let's see if the okay, here you go. I was thinking is when it happened. Mostly. It didn't close. It's not closed, so it didn't, it didn't completely crash the app. But I don't see anything that just tells me the processor caused it. That's what I'm trying to figure out anyway, is this processor run good on here? But it does have well, it could be from an update, but it has, I've updated it a couple of times in the last few days since I've been on it. I think there's not any more waiting to be done today. I think I might have went ahead and updated it yesterday. Sometimes new updates are actually got some bugs in them, that need to be. Display system information. That's what I was at. Okay. System process monitoring utilities. What's this? These look to be all command line stuff, so I don't think I need all that. The only ones that I really use are the ones that have a little CLI in them. Port scan attack detector, that would be a good thing to have for your server. But let's don't get sidetracked, especially since none of this may even work. There's a lot of the, see, I don't see a way to, I was going to say if I could sort it by the ones, actions that are going to be done, which maybe you can, but I don't see it right now. Is it down there or something? What is all that? I don't know, but I don't think you can, even if you can resort it by clicking those, it wouldn't be what I need. I don't know if it's even going to work when I try to install this stuff now. You usually don't see that kind of a crash with, Yum, anything to do with Yum, or I guess now DNF, but I've been using DNF on Fedora 23 for, I think, about 2 years now, and I don't see stuff like that happening in there. Now there's something. Hardware detection classification utilities. Oh, that's like, yeah, okay. I don't think that's not going to be what I'm looking for. I think that's more for helping applications, especially Python. This is Python 3 hardware, helping it to detect, hardware for the Python apps to work right. Maybe even from when you're writing Python apps. So astrological images, that's pretty cool. I've played with some stuff like that before. The one that I liked was it would show you what it was like going out into space. Let's see, there's a couple of them. Oh, there's one where it shows you where planets are. You can stellarium or something like that. You can go out through the stellar system, solar system, and you can either go to real places, real planets they've mapped, or you can make up your own, and it was pretty kind of fun to play with. And then there's the other one where it's in a flight simulator that you can, a space plane, it can fly, you can take off from the ground and then fly all the way out into space. And it has, once you get out of the atmosphere, it's, black with stars and stuff. It just shows you coordinates of where you're going, A lot of stuff for SCSI stuff. SCSI have always, if you didn't know, that's pretty old. That used to be the fastest hard drive you could get, a SCSI hard drive. I've got one. I never had anything with them. The one I got, and the system it was in, really old system, and it had a card to go with it that you could a PCI card, and you could plug it. I think it was actually an ISA card, and you could plug it into a system. And I messed around with it and played with it. It's like it was actually 3 gigabytes. Gigabytes? Is it really that big? Anyway, I don't remember how big it was now. I think maybe it was. Not big enough to really do anything with, just something to mess around with. And the old system it was in was too old to really do anything with, even really make a good server out of. A web server needs to be fairly powerful. Like, for instance, my web server's a single-core Celeron 2.4 or 5 gigahertz, and that's fine as long as you're not trying to use it for anything else at the same time. I mean, I don't get hardly any traffic on mine, so I could probably go by. The one I was using before, that was a 450 megahertz Pentium 3. I used it for years, 5 or more years. It actually, the only reason I really quit using it is because it got to where it's an old Dell desktop, the original desktops, not the towers, but the laying flat desktops that you used to set your monitor on is the way we always did it. It got to where if the power would blink off or anything, it might or it might not boot back up all the way. It would hang up, and so then the server wouldn't automatically boot back up. Because you can set a BIOS on almost any computer, any desktop, to do what you want. Like if the power goes out, when the power comes back, do you want it to boot back up? Do you want it to stay as it was before? Do you want it to just stay off? And so that's all you got to do. You just tell it to boot back up, and then with the server, it'll be serving as soon as it's booted back up. I had French fries. My eyes are getting all blurry now. They're good though. And a hamburger, cheeseburger, and French fries, and actually a Diet Coke. They asked me if I wanted a drink. I said no, but then it came with the little meal, so I got one anyway. After I said that, I thought, well, it's going to come with a meal. I thought, well, now maybe I won't get any French fries, but I did. But look, it's kind of odd. That's the second hamburger I've had within a month, and it's been years since I even had one like that. I was saying that earlier. That was Dairy Queen, which, if you never heard of it, it was like the hamburger place in North Texas anyway. And I think they're in quite a few other states. It's not near as many. They used to be in every little town, big town, every 10 blocks in a big town. And they were big in the 50s. They were a big deal, especially. And my mom's, my second cousins, which were my dad's first cousins, they were twins, and when they were in high school and like right after high school, I think they were they call them car hops. You would Dairy Queen used to be you'd drive up and park like Sonic is now. You'd drive up and park and order on a speaker, and they back those days in the 50s and even early 60s, the car hops wore roller skates and waited on cars that way. And one time we have a Sonic here in my town, which it's been there 15 or 20 years now, but it was a new thing to us when it came here. I saw there was a few girls one year. There was a few girls that were doing that. They were riding roller skates. I thought that was so cool because that was something I didn't even see when I was in high school. It was something we used to talk about, but I never saw it. And this was just like in the mid like 2002 or 5 or whatever. So I guess they heard about it too. I'm talking instead of working here, aren't I? But I am working. I'm kind of half looking while I'm... Okay, I'm to the bottom of it all. System configure wine benefit handler. Oh, okay. Okay, I figured that. I just had a feeling that nothing else was going to show up. I can't. Oh, there it is. I hate. See, I never have to reset this one to one that looks more like what I'm used to. See, that thing disappears, and I just think it's not there. And it's so narrow. They've made them all so narrow I can barely get them. They used to be like that much wider. I can barely even get a hold of them. But the stuff I'm going to install hopefully will work. I don't know. I wish I could, or what I wanted to do was what you used to do real easy in Apper was reorganize it in stuff that's what the things that are going to be installed. What's that for? Oh, okay. All the types of packages, and then I'd do a screenshot right before I said install, which I can still do that, but I think in this screen right here, yeah. Oh, at least I can make it full screen. But see, I don't know the main. I don't want to know all the dependencies. I want to know the main app names. Maybe that's them right there. Bench. I think that is them. And then those are all dependencies underneath there. I think it's, even though it's not highlighted or anything to let you know. See, you can't get that thing. You can get a hold of it. It's really aggravating. I'm not sure if that's one of them or not. I'll just do it like this and do a screenshot because otherwise I won't know what apps to look for. Bench, WMMON, WMON, Glances. I don't even remember seeing that. Hardware info. That's the one I have used. And then hardware lock GUI. I'm not sure about that. I-Next and then GHC glob and all those other things I think are dependencies. Okay, I think that was on my main machine, but that's fine. Okay, root. Well, so far so good. I'm very grateful that this did not completely crash after all that time. Not only the time spent doing it, but I was actually making a video, doing it. So I've had it happen, not a lot of times, but there has been a few times where I've had Yum. It used to be Yum, or not. Well, there was Yum Extender, which I used to use mostly Apper until the last few years. I started using Yum Extender. And now, since Fedora 23, I think that's when I don't know if that started before then. It might have started in 21. I had machines with Fedora 21 and 22, I think. But anyway, ever since I went to Fedora 23, that's when I really had to start getting on board with DNF because although I could still use Yum Extender and I think you can still type Yum commands and it'll just convert it for you. But I started realizing, I just need to start learning to use DNF, The only difference is instead of typing Yum or in your script putting Yum in there, put DNF, that's not the only difference. There's a lot of things that Yum could do that DNF can't do, but still. But so this may take just a while to install. That is the names that were the apps that were getting installed. I just now noticed that. If I make another screenshot, I'll know for sure. There we go. Yeah. So those are the apps that I'm installing. Bench, Glances, Hardware Info, Hardware Lock, and Hardware Lock GUI, iNext, and WMON. So, System Monitor for Window Maker. I don't know if that's going to do me any good. I just realized I don't really know what Window Maker is. I think I've tried it before. I don't think it's not a desktop. I think it's just there's a lot of graphic user interfaces, different ones like Qt, and I guess Window Maker is probably another one, and GTK is another one. That's just interfaces that you build the programmers build their GUIs with, and that may be what Window Maker is. Not sure. Okay, this one's command line, and the next one's CLI. See how it is differentiated like that. Command line benchmark. Now that's straight up command line, I guarantee you. CLI, that's probably going to have like a, I usually just call it a wizard for lack of a better name. Like that interface that was in the other one where you pick a number, you know. This one is probably GUI, Hardware Information Tool. Portable Hardware Locality. Oh wait, yeah, okay. This one doesn't say one way or the other, but it's a command line. But it has, how I know that's because it also has a GUI app to go with it. And this one I'm not sure. It's probably, since I've never heard of it at all, I'm betting you it's probably command line. See, they don't always tell you in the summary there. This one here, I don't know. I think it might be graphic. Used to, there was a real easy way when you were doing your searches to sort them by, I only want to see, you know, apps with a GUI interface, or I only want to see apps with command line interface, or I only want to see apps with CLI interface. And they got away from that, and Yum Extender doesn't do that at all, I don't think. So you got, it's left up to you to pay attention more as to figure out. You know, you may waste your time installing 10 apps with 100 dependencies that are all command line only, and you don't want them, and you don't even know how to use them, you know, and stuff. So they say that Apper was one thing. It was, sometimes it was, let's see, what did it do? I don't remember. There was some things I didn't like about it, but the graphic user interface of it was really fantastic compared to any of these others. Oh, I remember. I started out with, I early on discovered Synaptic, and even though it's really built for Debian, it used to run on Fedora, and I started using it, and I used it up until Fedora 14 when it quit working. There we go, that's all done. Okay, now that I have my screenshots though, I may have to open them up, and first let's just see what we get in the search. Okay, what's this? We only get one if you just for look. Hardware locality ls top. Oh, ls top. There we go. Now there's top, which is command line hardware, and then ls top. This one here is, I don't think it's going to tell you much though. This must only be for your, this is just showing, it's kind of a graphic. Not much to it. L2 cache, okay. L1, L2 cache is what that is, I believe. Core, I don't know what that is. SDA, that's my hard drive. PCIe, it's telling you about your hardware. What happens when you click on something? Nothing. So I don't know. What do you do with that? That's the graphic version of HTOP. There's top and HTOP, and I think top is, they're all right. I mean, they're like a CLI, and they're all right. But I didn't see those. I didn't find them just now. Did I? No, I didn't. I know I didn't install them. I just now remember that topped. Oh, that's something else. That's an IC layout editor for electronics design. LS top. No, I didn't put that on there. Okay, but what I can do, good thing I've got my little screenshots. I'm going to have to open this up. I guess I'll open it up in this same window here. I guess I'll just use the, yeah, I'll use this. Don't need that anymore. I'll use the preview on this for now. Okay, bench. Let's see, which one do I really want? I want HW info. Okay. Where is it? Maybe it's not graphic. Oh, it's not. I already did the whole. Okay, iNEC system devices. A lot of I actually found most of that by looking for system stuff. So, emulator for the X Windows system. I don't know what that is. Rendering system. I've got so much stuff on these systems that I still haven't learned what they, some of them I just thought they looked interesting. Bench. Okay, that's a command line. What about CLI-based monitoring tool? Okay. HW lock. Yeah, let's look at that one. And then WMON. Okay. HW lock. Hardware locality. That's not the same thing. Oh, that's the one I just did. That's still not that one. That's not that app. So I guess all of these, iNext, didn't I see that? Let's see. I tried hitting Control F to search. That don't work with that. There it is, iNext. Library. Oh, let's look at it and see what it is. I think it's going to be a graphic app, I think. If it's going to run. Yeah, it's still trying. It's working. Okay. Well, if nothing else, I've at least ran this thing long enough, and doing all these installs and everything. That's pretty good workout for the CPU. That's my main goal, is just to see if the thing's going to crash during normal operations. And while I did have some odd little, individual app crashes. Oh, this is like CPU-Z. Wow. This is what kind of thing I've really been wishing for. I think it was already on there. It's too small to read. Doesn't get any bigger. Okay. This is like open source CPU-Z, I guess. Well, I don't know. CPU-Z might actually be an open source app, but it's mostly, I don't think it runs on, unless this is like the Linux version of it or something. I don't know who writes this or anything. Cool. This was hardly on here the whole time. I'm pretty sure. I know it was, because did I install that? Oh, I just installed it, so it wasn't on here the whole time. Right. Okay. GPU, codename Brisbane. This tells you everything. 45 watt, 65 millimeter. This is AMD socket AM2. Okay, well, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I remember that. That's what the motherboard is. Cache L164, cache L164, cache L2 512K. I don't know what never bothered to learn the details about all this stuff. I used to the cache was quite a bit different in different motherboards, and you used to really need to pay attention to that, because you could really you could have a fast, you could have two processors of the same speed, and the machine would actually run a lot slower because of the cache, L1 and L2 cache. But I think they're all, it doesn't matter. It matters, but they're not as wildly different as it used to be back in the late 90s, early 2000s. At least I don't think so. Okay, now let's see what the GPU, there we go. This is a NVIDIA GPU, graphic processing unit. That's the video chip, not, Okay. Yeah, it's running OpenGL on it. That's what I was talking about earlier about, that's the 3D rendering. Yeah, that's 3D rendering. And that it can do, that it'll run, that it can do. Let's see. Mobo. Well, they said Mobo instead of motherboard. Or instead of main board. A lot of them say main board. There's the motherboard. To be filled by OEM. Audio, let's see what we got in the way of audio. HDA Intel, HDA NVIDIA. Never seen those two together that I remember. There's the ALSA driver information. Video line. Okay, looks like there might be another. Oh, there's more than one input to select too. I think that might change. Yeah, I think that's going to change the information down in the bottom window. So there's several of those. I'm not going to bother with all of them. And the drives, that should be 232 gigabyte. So that's the see what 250 gigabyte drive you get 230. It only registers 232 gigabytes. That still torques me every time I see that. Block sizes, it tells you all that stuff. But this is not going to be one you can run a test though. Like, you know, it tells you everything, but I don't think you're going to be able to do a stress test or anything. There's the operating system, the desktop, Fedora 26 XFCE. This thing wouldn't run Mate very well. It's just not powerful enough. XFCE is the lightest one that you know, well, I can make it look like Mate and make it function basically like Mate, except for a lot of the back end where the settings and stuff, you can't do it. It's not there, and you'll have to do it. Find out how to do it in the command line or something. Like something just like making a new user, you know, stuff like that. Really pain in the Torcus. Torcus, I haven't thought of that in a million years. That used to be a very popular word to use instead of but. How can Torcus be a synonym for but? I mean, it's not any, doesn't sound, what is a Torcus? I mean, to me it sounds like a turtle, right? So, oh, well, people use the word turtle for your butt a lot because, you know, because they used to, we didn't say, you know, the trunk of the car, we said in your turtle, put it in the turtle. When I was a kid, that's what we said. That's what everybody said. That won't get big, even though it has a button there. I'd like for it to get, you know. But there's an arrow there. You can go to the more. That was the kernel. Memory. It's telling you what's being used right now. Oh, yeah, I have 2 gigs. So right now I'm using 781.92 megabytes of memory. And swap used not much at all. That's completely managed by the Linux system. You know, you don't ever have to worry about the swap. I wouldn't know anything what to do with it if you could. I guess you can, but you change the swap size with, you know, gparted or something like that, a partition editor. It's not something you don't do it like in Windows. You know, there's a, did they call it? Yeah, they call it. There's a swap file that you could change the size of and stuff like that. Well, this is an actual partition on the hard drive. It's quite a bit different. And it works great. You don't ever have to worry about it. It's all this. Ethernet controller. Okay. Oh, yeah, network. Man, this is some detailed information. And it's laid out really nice and easy to follow. This is a really cool app. That was USB. And then about Onyx. Got information for your hardware system. Oh, look, interface similar to the popular Windows tool CPU-Z. Onyx can display information for the following components: CPU, GPU, motherboard, sound. Of course, I just went through all that. And some system info like host name, distribution, version, Xorg, GGC, GLS versions, Linux kernel info. Very cool. Then they got a PayPal donate button. Looks like it still works. Looks like it works now. I'm going to have to wait for Firefox to open up. But that's very, very cool. I want to look for that. There's another thing. Onyx library. I want to see what that is. I don't know if it's going to open up the browser or not. It may take a little bit and it may do it. I hear it rattling now. Of course, I just opened up another app. I hear the hard drive rattling. But it may be rattling because it's trying to open up Firefox and this app at the same time. There. Library information. Curl, Dbus, GStreamer, GTK, Intel DRM. Library sounds more like codecs to me. Oh, well, no. DRM's not a codec. Huh. I don't know. I honestly have never seen anything like that before. I didn't know that was a thing called the library. I know what most of that stuff is. I mean, I know basically. I mean, like Pulse Audio. I know that's the. All I know it is the Pulse Audio control app to control everything, and the in and out IO in and out interface for your audio that kind of works along with ALSA. It has a lot more options, and then you can use Jack, which is it's like unlimited options, but it's a lot harder to use. Looks like we didn't get Firefox opened up. I guess that link didn't. Oh, I want to look at that. I don't close that yet. Okay, now that was Onyx. Very cool. Okay, have I tried any of the others? Well, the others I was waiting because they were command line. WMMON. There's a WMM, but it's not. Oh, there. Yeah, see, it's a command line. Okay, so well, there's the terminal right there. Might as well, I don't know if that's the one I wanted or not. What's this one? XFCE terminal. What's this one here? That's the same thing. Okay, I just happened to do that. Happened to show up. Okay, let's bench. Let's just see if bench. See what bench will do for us. So mostly all I got was command line apps. And see, this is a typical command line app. It tells you what the commands are, but you've got to sort through all that and figure out how to run it. I was just so blurry now after eating my French fries that I can barely read any of that. But this one looks pretty hard too. Got lots of dashes and stuff you'd have to type in there to get, and that's hard for me to get right. So I don't even want to try that one. Glances, GLANCES. Did I try that in here? Okay, Glances. Now, funny thing is, if you click on Run Glances, it won't open up a window, command line for you and do it. See if what we get with this. There we go. Now that's more of a CLI type command line app. See, it gives you all the information in a text, almost graphic text format. I mean, they're just using those little, but it automatically, you can let that sit there and run, and it'll tell you what else is going on. Now these kind of apps, this is like Top and ATOP. I forgot all about those two apps, Top and ATOP. HTOP, ATOP, and Top, and one of them, one of them's pretty easy to use. But this is just system. What's going on in your system? But some of them you can like select things. This one doesn't look like you can really do anything but just watch it. Some of them, one of the ones like Top and ATOP and all that. I don't know if I'm gonna debate near my mind about installing those. Okay, HW info. I didn't do that yet, did I? Let's just go in alphabetical order there so that I won't get lost. There we go. Let's see. I think this is going to be a list of, hardware. This is probably pretty valuable information. Let's get out of this. Oh no, I'm using oh, that's all the terminal readout from when we ran it. Let's go down bottom again. read it backwards, I guess. This is all more like real hardware info, like, wow. Yeah. So that might be useful at some time, you know, but not this time right now. Okay, for me. Boy, I can't believe HW Info is not the app I thought it was. Okay, HW Lock. How come I didn't see? Oops. HW LOC. Well, let's look in here first. How come I don't have? That's the one I already opened up. Is that what I've got? Is that all I've actually got? HW Lock. Did I do something wrong? HW LOC. Well, I don't know. Maybe what it might be that little GUI that opened up is what that really is, but it's for some reason that's not the right command for running it. I don't know. Inex I already did. Did I do WMON? WMMON? Don't think so. I'm going to close it so I'll have a fresh terminal. If I get something really interesting, I want to save it, you know. WMON. Oh, look, it opened up a little graphic thing up there. Is that really all there is to it? Can you make it bigger or something? It's just a little CPU thing, and it's got a little graphic. Huh. Okay. Try it again. I'm just guessing. No, that didn't do anything. It didn't hurt it or help it. I was just thinking maybe I could make it bigger by giving it a lot of times those kind of apps, you know, you can tell them how big the window should be, but I don't know how to do it. Okay, so, but there is one other thing that I might want to do, I guess, while I'm at it here. I'm going to go back into... all right, let's do it this way then, because I don't think I'll get into any real trouble. I never do this, and this will actually be quicker. When you know the name of the app you want, go into terminal, type SU, and then type your root password, DNF, HTOP. Actually, I wanted top, HTOP, and I think there's an ATOP. All right, now, installing HTOP, yes. And it's small, so it should happen pretty quick. It seems that the installing is really slow with DNF. I mean, that in Yum, in good old days of Yum, that would have been done as dang near as fast as I could have typed it out. I don't get that. It's supposed to be lighter weight, you know, faster, easier on the system resources. I don't get it. And I don't think, you know, of course well, it's coming up pretty quick. I mean, it doesn't seem to me that there's like I know I'm on remote desktop, like I always consider that, but I mean, that is a 106 kilobyte app, and there's probably, I'm sure there's a few, didn't say anything about it. I don't see anything about a list of dependencies or anything. Just working on, it just says preparing, running scriptlet. Okay, now it's installed. I'm just going to run it and then we'll just do, okay, there you go. There's H-top. Of course, now that I want to get out of it, oh yeah, F10 is quit. But that's just kind of just watch. You can see, you know, what's going on. You can see your PIDs. That's one cool thing about it. You can see if you need to know the PID of an app. Like, let's say you had a, let's get in here. Let's say you had an app, where is it got, well, this one doesn't have PID, but some of these system apps, you can find them by the PID. See, you can kill things in the command line but you need to know the process ID in order to kill it. You can say kill space the PID number, I think, just a number. I don't think you have to put PID. I can't remember. I don't use it because I just use the graphic apps. Team Viewer is working away there. Now, to get out of this, it says at the bottom F10. Okay, where's F10? Oh, how about that? Oh, that's for this terminal window, I guess. Huh. Close tab. Huh. Close window. What happens if you close tab? Close the whole thing? Well, that's okay. That's fine. I just have to start over again. One or two of them... I'm just going to do straight top, and then I'll do A top. I think there's an A top. And then I'll try running them. Oh, there's no match for top. Oh, for that. I could be wrong. Maybe I have it all wrong. Looks like there is an A top. Okay. That's going a little faster this time. We'll run A-top and see. One of the other one, I know that was a CLI, interface, and the other one might be a real. I don't know. Neither one of them's a complete graphic user interface, but one of them has a lot of options where you can organize what you want to watch and all that stuff, and it can be really useful. While that's doing its thing, I want to go ahead and reload my preview over there. All my Diet Coke and everything is not, it's calling me for a little break. I may have to go have a break pretty soon here. Okay, it's complete. Well, that was a little faster. That seems to be way back. Oh, there we go. Now it's where I'm at. I was like, that's way back on earlier. Okay. Let me see if what I want to do before I do that. I want to search up here in the graphic. Topped hardware locality LISPO. Okay, H-top. So I think that'll just open it up in a terminal for you, I guess. And then what about A-top? Let's just keep on going. See what else shows up in here. A-top, and I get mouse and touch control. Run A-top. So it's going to be completely command line, looks like. Okay, well, let's just go back to our terminal window then, run it. Oh, okay. See, it doesn't have the extra colors in the the little graphics, the moving graphics and stuff. Actually, this could be easier to read. This may be the one where you can do a lot, because look at all the stuff at the top. No, that's not telling you what to do. There may still yet be another one of these kind of apps that it gives you instructions and tells you how to resort everything in the app. Oh, it is moving. It's just not as fast. Okay, I didn't do anything. I was just moving my mouse around. I did do that. Oh, rolling my mouse wheel is doing something. Maybe it depends on where I'm at in the window. Not sure, but I mean, it's just showing these now. Oh, I guess it's just showing you automatically what processes are active, what it's doing. So that's pretty cool. Now here's the thing. The one other thing I wanted to show for sure, Kdenlive video editor that's pretty resource heavy usage app, and hopefully it doesn't happen. Every time I opened it a week or two ago or whatever, a month ago, it just completely crashed the system. Okay, now there it goes. It opens up just fine. That's what the the other power supply, the eMachines power supply. That's one of the things that gave me a clue. I was like, okay, I know this is a heavy resource usage app, and it just the way it looked when it crashed. I've seen enough crashes due to video problems that I just thought I think this thing. I've always I don't remember how I figured it out, but just running this app uses a lot of your video, memory, your GPU. It uses your GPU just when you run it, much less rendering or anything. Matter of fact, I think this Kdenlive will use their GPU if you have one that can do it. I don't think these onboard GPUs can do it. I've tried setting it before in some of my machines, and it just couldn't. You couldn't set it to do that because use GPU rendering because it wasn't the kind of GPU that could do that, and or that this app could use to do that. Anyway, I went the last time I tried to open on this particular system. I haven't put any of my files on it or anything. I built it and hadn't really done much with it, and then I decided to let Mom use it, and then it kept crashing, and I had to give up. I mean, I got it almost ready to go when I finally gave up. But there's not even normally there's a Kdenlive folder that's made by Kdenlive. I guess it's not there because I was never able to even open it up. I think if there's not one there, a lot of times the default is it'll put it in your home directory, Kdenlive folder. I used to always try to put it in my videos because it was easier to find it for me, but I think it's best overall, especially when you jump around to different machines like I do, it's best to let it go to its default location. But you can go, and tell it where. I guess you could run the configuration wizard and tell it where to do it. Configure Kdenlive. That's generally how I set things. But somewhere in there, project defaults. It's already. I don't know. Well, let's see. No, I think that's what it defaults to now. I don't know why there's I still don't understand why there's a 29.97 frames per second. The standard was 30 frames per second in America, until they become able to get up above that, And but what is 29.97? Where did that come from? I'm behind. I don't know why they even include that. But that's in every editing app now. That's not the area where you set the Kdenlive project folder. There it is. No. Yeah, okay. Default folders, temp, capture folder, home Don. I wouldn't want it there. I'd want to make it. That's why I would make a Kdenlive folder. Well, let's say and use project folder. Well, where's the project folder? Library. Oh, I guess that's where you have to. Yeah, this is where you do it. Default apps. That's not it either, though. That's what. Huh. Capture. Yeah, it can do screen grab and stuff. And it's really resource hungry though. Every time I tried to make a screencast like I'm doing right now with OBS Studio, even on the quad core, it would the audio and video would they'd start out in sync, and within you couldn't go 10-15 minutes, it'd get way out of sync real bad. So and you couldn't go around and open any apps on the machine. It was just using too many resources. Anyway, I don't care about that. It just got me curious because it's not set. You know, that folder, it's not there. Usually it makes that folder, that KDN Live folder, in your home directory. Probably if I started a real project, then I guess that's when it would do it or something. But look at there. It doesn't crash or anything. All because I swapped CPU. Power supplies, PSUs. There's too many three-letter abbreviations for me to get them right. Okay. So I think that this thing is just fine and dandy with this dual-core processor, even though it's not on the supported list. I didn't go into what did I not go? Oh, I didn't do any more research on, you know, the ASRock motherboard, this motherboard, and people that have actually used it with, you know, on like an 8300 processor. I kind of got sidetracked from that. I want to do that. I'm not going to do it right now because I actually going to have to. I think I'll just quit this video and take a break, and then I'll decide if I want to. If I did do anything else about this, that's what I would do. Of course, the next thing, once I get done playing with this, I got to put that CPU back. I mean, that power supply back in the original machine it belongs in, Mom's machine. But yeah, this is an interesting one. It's not one that I don't even which one is this? It doesn't even have all the same normal menus that the rest of them have. I can't even find out its name. I guess it's just because they say Task Manager up there, I guess that's what it's called. That's not always its actual name, you know, but if you go to Help, it's not Help, is it? Oh, there we go. It's Task Manager. That's the name of it. Oh, I think this is the one for XFCE. This is the one for XFCE. And it is lighter weight. It's not the top. A lot of times these other ones, like the one I like a lot, I think it's the Mate one. It actually uses too many resources for, like this machine. It'd be the top user, you know. But look how much, it's really crazy that TeamViewer is using 17 to 35% of the CPU just sitting there running TeamViewer. That might be a lot of the reasons why this machine seems lagging too much while I'm doing all this, because I'm using TeamViewer. And I don't think I have, I didn't think it was running, but I may have KRFB on this machine. I was thinking, and then I decided not to get sidetracked. Oh, I guess I don't have it on here. I was thinking, well, maybe I should install KRFB and see if it'll actually run better, you know. I do have VNC Browser, Tiger VNC Viewer. I don't know why that came up under as VNC. I got VirtualBox on there. But all I'd have to do then is install KRFB, and it would install the Tiger VNC minimal server, and I'd be ready to go. I'm not going to do it right now, but this system is really set up pretty darn good. I spent some time on it, and I was thinking, well, you know what I could do is leave it like it is, and I need another power supply for it, but I could leave it like it is if I get a power supply, and put that Fedora Automatic on there, and it would automatically upgrade it to Fedora 27. Because this 26 is only one back, so that should work really well, and that would show me how well that goes. So this particular system and well, of course, if I take the ASRock motherboard and use it, then I won't be able to do that. But yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, so let's see. was trying to decide, do I want to shut this ASRock down? I'm not going to shut it down yet. I'm going to wait. Just leave it like that. What I'm going to do is go ahead and go and take my break and everything, and I don't know. My eyes are still blurry, and I'm getting tighter and tighter. I may end up having to quit for the night. I didn't think I would, but I did get up a lot earlier today. I actually didn't sleep. Last several days this week, I've been sleeping about 11 hours. Today, I slept 9, which is still a good long time, isn't it? I used to sleep 6 or 8 hours every night. Sometimes now I go back and forth. But I've got to where I sleep 10 or 11 hours, sometimes 12, you know. And when I sleep 12 hours, I feel like crap for 6 hours of the next day. It makes me feel real bad because of the diabetes. It gets my sugar out of whack. But anyway, I'm going to go now. And least I could do is get off of that feedback loop there. I'm going to go and just load my wire back there. It really drives me crazy seeing that. That's the camera I got aiming at the monitor, and I just don't really have any way to get it up out of the view there. That's my power going to the phone to make sure it doesn't run down. But I tried to move it and at least get it less in the view, but I just don't have a good way to do it. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot more junk on the other side, isn't there? But anyway, wires dangling bug me in a picture, in a video, for some reason. They don't bug me out. I got plenty of them I'm looking at right in front of me, but that don't bug me for some reason. All right. Yeah, I'm going to take a break, and then I don't know if I'll do any more video tonight or not. Because I'm rambling a lot. Probably wouldn't be a good idea. All right. Yeah. So anyway, I just don't see any reason why. I mean, I know I'm going to do a little more research on that. People that have, and what people have actually done, and how many people. In fact, I know there's some stuff out there. I saw it about people running. Well, I saw people asking the question, and the answers they were getting were like, "Well, yeah, it'll work, but you shouldn't use that. Go buy this other one. It just costs a little bit more and all that stuff." But and of course, this is all gamers running Windows and looking to overclock to the max. Well, I don't even need to overclock it, you know. I mean, to go from that's a dual core, to go from a dual core to an 8 core, from 2 gig RAM to 8 gig RAM, there's no overclocking required to get a huge improvement, you know. So as long as it would, if it'll run good like that, and if it could overclock it some and then not overheat, it'd be great. It'd be fine, you know. But anyway, I think it would do it. I'm beginning to think so. All right, I'm going to go. Bye-bye.